Howdy, folks. Welcome back to another day in the Milky Way. And tonight I've got like I said, I'm going back to my roots. And tonight I got Mr. Brian Lunsford and Miss Anya Teish. How you two doing tonight?
Hello.
Good, real good. Glad to be here again.
What's going on down there, brother Brian?
It's been forever.
Oh, nothing.
It's going on 2 months, believe it or not.
I believe it.
But as we were talking before the show, and we're going to get into that here in a little bit, I had to take a step back even after I was sick, just because there's a fine line between enlightenment and insanity.
I think they call that a dark night of soul.
Indeed.
That's what it was. I mean, I had to do the same thing. I had to take a break and shut the noise off and just take it in. Just watch for a while.
Yeah. I mean, you got to take a step back, and like I said, and unfortunately, I didn't get into the chat rooms or anything like that, but I did watch some videos that maybe stood out to me, and like I said, it does give you more time to actually get some things done and focus on yourself, and that's really what it ended up being for me. I wanted to just focus on myself.
Yeah, you can look up in the sky and start getting real down in the mouth, when your sky's dusted over completely. It's like you have to take a step back and realize that frequency that you're feeling is exactly what they want, and just got to pull back from that.
Yeah.
I've been doing the same thing.
Yeah, that's the inner work we need to do, looking inside of us. I mean,
isn't it fun?
I want to do it all over again. Not.
I mean, that's why they say enlightenment is a destructive process, and you got that shit right.
That's why you see those videos where like, don't open your third eye, and this is why. And I'm like, what are you talking about? Don't open your third eye. I'm telling you, man, when you start waking up, then you really start to feel it energetically. It can be overwhelming. I mean, extremely overwhelming, especially if you're doing the work.
It opens up other avenues as well, like for other experiences, sort of like, something we're going to talk about a little bit tonight, experiences like that you've had,
Oh, man.
Seeing things in the sky and whatnot, like it opens up those other avenues because you're more in touch with that. I guess you would call it, would it be a sixth sense?
Yeah, well, yeah, because it's almost like these guys up in Alaska. I was telling you about this earlier. When they're hunting, they move up away from the city, and it takes them a couple weeks to clear the noise out, and then all of a sudden, it's almost like their hearing gets better. It's like seeing in the dark. Your eyes adjusting. Their hearing gets better. All your senses kind of light up, and then the more work you do, the more those senses are able to light up, and that's really taken place with me here.
Well, that's one thing that we've truly lost, is that connection to nature. Like, and that's something that, I mean, our ancestors lived by, the touch, the feel of the earth and everything like that. Yeah. And, I don't know if that's by design or not, but that, like I said, that's definitely one thing that we've lost a grasp on, is that connection.
That ancient technology, not this technology, but the technology of the spirit, that's what I call it. Something I've really been working on, getting all that negative stuff out of my body, old habits, things to clear that are just, old ancient stuff that I thought I got rid of. No, I didn't get rid of it. I just buried it. I buried it, I buried it deep, but I've been working on some of that stuff, and it's just like you. I've had to really take a break and step back.
Like I said,
yeah, we talked about that we're all actually connected with the ancestor through our bloodline, right? And we know blood is so important. So, and it's all there. It was never gone. It is all there. We just have to find it again. Yeah. Open up, get away from all that manipulation, that word religion, right? Like, right. Getting to the subject here, I can't hold it in anymore.
Right.
Have at it, girl. Have at it.
I gotta let it out. It's burning.
My dad said something today. I went over to see my mom. She's doing she's doing, Brian, but my mom is she's in transition at this point, but she's got pancreatic and liver cancer, stage 4, and it's rough. But she was taking a nap, and I was talking with my dad, and I had my dowsers over there, and some other stuff. And he goes, Brian, in the Bible, it says that you really shouldn't look at that stuff. I said, Dad, don't get me started. A lot of that stuff is put in there to kind of steer you away from who you really are. And having that argument with my dad is, it's pointless because he's been trained into it so hard. It's just, it's difficult.
No, I understand. I tried to talk like that with my grandmother a while back, and it didn't go well, man.
Yeah, my grandmother might have slapped me, but I just let him have his say, and I just kind of keep doing what I do and tell him I love him no matter what, and that's where we go. I mean, eventually everybody's gonna. I think things are gonna come to a certain point where the people that are asleep are gonna have no choice but to look at their spiritual side, because things are getting funky, dude.
Well, I mean, it's pretty much in your face already, but they're doing a pretty good job of smoothing it over. Like, if people don't notice the changes in the weather in human behavior in general, I mean, if you can't see there's changes going on around you, like, you truly are asleep.
You don't want to see
to bed.
Yeah. It's not just cognitive dissonance. It goes a step further. It's like my daughter did. She saw that thing in the sky, and then she goes, I didn't see that. And she ran inside. That brings out that fear. It breaks up your reality, and you go, wait a minute. I don't want to have to restructure this. But once you wake up, man, there's no going back to sleep. You can't go back into that comatose
Can't go back in the bubble.
No. No.
Yeah, but that's what we have to do. We just have to, realize that it's all inside of us, and that's what's going on out there is like all manipulation, which is going on for centuries. And I'm not talking only religion. I also count to that New Age. This is all Masonry. It goes back to the Egypt, to the sun cults. It goes to the Mayan sun cults. It was all controlled, and the only reason that these cultures got eliminated, same with the Celts, they had a sun cult too, is they found their true connection. They had their true connection, right? And we just have to get away from this. And this is a thin line I find between, going crazy and losing it or keeping on the path. And religion is nothing like a translated word from Latin into reconnection. We don't have to reconnect. We are connected. But with all those 10 million religions and even New Age and light work, those are all words that try to separate, Oh, I'm a light worker. I'm sorry I have to say that. I hope no one gets that the wrong way, please. But it's like, oh, that's a Christian, but I'm a light worker. So there is no difference. You're separating here again, and we can't do that anymore.
No more boxes.
Separating. No one is better. It's them telling us that whatever they bring out with all the name, Jews, Christianity, what are those living country people there, the Mormons, Hindu, whatever. It's all the same. It's like,
in the end, it is all the same.
Yeah, but it's all the same freaking manipulation. Sorry, excuse my language, but it's all the same. This is right, and if you don't do it like that, you got it coming, you get a spanky. So it's all this fear feeding, and we don't need to reconnect to anything. We are connected. We always keep saying that, but yet we separate it with, I'm a light worker, I'm this, me included, I'm that. Well, I don't even give myself a name anymore because of that, right? And it's just, this has to stop. Like, we are already connected. We just have to use it again.
Yeah.
And this is the awakening. I mean, like, even New Age is not new, right? That spirituality. That was back in the 60s with, I don't know, Jim Morrison, and his dad was an army admiral, I believe.
Yeah.
So it's all Freemasonry, that whole religious thing. And it goes back to cultures. And they got eliminated because they didn't play along. And now everybody's talking about the reset. Now everybody, oh my God, the black hole is coming, and this is coming, and that is coming.
Yeah.
No, the reset is us. We can reset it if we really like keep walking and look in us and not who tells us, you know. I mean, yes, electricity bill, but that's about it.
That's why they start up that end of the world thing every year, because they're actually trying to get us to manifest that crap.
Yeah, fear feeding. And what is easier to manifest than fear? Like,
yeah. And I mean, look at television and movies and things, everything. Like, I mean, if you're not desensitized by watching TV and stuff, like, it's amazing. But, you know, even though we're so desensitized to like violence and crime and all that, man, people get butt hurt mighty easy over some stupid shit too, you know? It amazes me.
Brandy says, I'm a lone worker.
Sorry.
Brandy, you know what I mean, right? I'm just trying to explain.
Oh, Lord.
I mean, I'm more like I said, I work with Odin. He's my guide. I mean, again, it's the same source. I just think the energy of that source, which we are connected with, just represents to everyone individually. Like that one person might need a soft angel. I'm more like the Odin type of guy. Like I need a kick in the ass once in a while, and I can deal with coochie. So
yeah, Michael's my guy. I like hanging out with Michael.
So everybody experience it different.
Yeah, that we actually talked about that a little bit last night. It's your own version of that reality.
Right.
It's your own reality.
Yeah.
Speaking of reality,
huh?
Speaking of reality, you want me to kind of talk about what? Well, this is why I have to stay grounded. Some of the stuff that happened with me the other night. I mean,
I have at it.
Well,
this is y'all's show.
All right. Well, I'm looking up at the sky like we always do, and the clouds are more defined, and I'm seeing the shapes I'm seeing, and I'm the faces. Now we've always seen that. You know, you can pick things out, but this was like HD definition with these faces. The use of the light that's coming through the clouds. I mean, it's just every little detail in these faces and shapes and objects and planes and old boats. It was just so defined. And what I could see were these humanoid type people, whether they be giants in the clouds or whatever, walking across, moving their arms. And then I just looked up and acknowledged them. And it happened for like a couple days. And I looked up and I acknowledged them with my mouth. I said, I see you. And then their heads would turn and look and smile. And my mind my paradigm broke. And it just didn't happen once. It happened for a couple days. I mean, it was just like looking at an HD television in my living room.
Was there a certain time that it would happen, or is just basically whenever you went out and decided?
When I went out and decided to look up. I mean, it happened for a couple days, but then the night in between the 2 days that it happened, I felt a lot of energy around me. So all right, I'll take a couple pictures and see what's going on. So I took a picture with the iPad facing me, and behind me, you could literally see, it was like a motley crew of different types of beings. I mean, there were tall grays, there were Sasquatch. I mean, anything that you can creatively think of, it was right there standing behind me. And it was one little Casper kind of looking individual, which I perceived to be female, was looking over. It was like a gray. Their skin was all white. And she looked like Casper's the best way I can describe it. But you could see them just standing all around. I mean, there were like 30 or 40 of these different beings as I just clicked around. This is the point where I'm going, am I grounded? Is this me? Am I creating this? What's going on here? I even went so far as to think about, how those people back in the day, they would take film that was undeveloped, they'd put it in a box, and then that spirit would imprint their picture on it. Do you remember that? I was trying to think of anything and everything that could be manifesting, but it was just so in my face. And my neighbor across the street, of course, she's standing in there with me. And so I actually have a witness to it. And the pictures are just like, are you kidding me? But they just kept, I said, get in the picture. You could see that they were all grouping together to get in the picture, and they're smiling. But there were all sorts of different beings, Manus beings, Sasquatch. There was some type of being that was sitting on my head. It looked like a humanoid. It was about 6 inches tall. Top half of him was human, and the bottom was like a spider, and he's just standing on my head. And the funny thing,
now we know what happened.
I could feel like pricks or whatever. I kept like touching my head, but this is the point where I'm like, dude, I have gone overboard with this
I'd be
stuff.
flipping out.
I'm like, what do I do? I mean, you can either freak out. I'm like, all right, well, let's just continue to take pictures. Nice to meet all of you, even though I can't visually see you. But the other thing that was happening is, Brian, do you ever get that thing where you see stuff out of your peripheral vision?
All the time, dude, all the time.
The orbs are just flying around me. Now I can see the orbs. They're just swooping down. They're going in between my legs. I mean, they're very faint, but I can see them. And energetically, I can see stuff moving all around me in my peripheral vision. So, of course, I call on Michael. Michael, I need protection just in case I really don't know we've got to learn how to protect ourselves from this kind of stuff. And I'm the one that looked up in the sky and said, I see you. How you doing? But to see those faces turning back in real time with motion and animation and energetically manipulating these clouds to look like whatever they want. And not only that, I'm like, let's make a heart. And all of a sudden this heart appears. That's the kind of stuff where you go over and your brain goes, I've either really gone off the deep six here, or I'm waking up even further. I'm realizing there is something to this creation thing, and there's a co-creation thing happening. But man, I had to check myself at every point during this thing. But when my neighbor across the street came into it and she was involved, she's like, what is going on? She goes, there was confirmation. Okay, well, I'm not the only one seeing it. Neither one of us were doing anything, no drugs, nothing. We're just, this is the level of waking up that's going to happen. This stuff is happening around us all the time. We're either perceiving it or we're not perceiving it. Yeah. And at one point there was a paranoid thought, but that's because in one of the pictures that I took, I saw what looked like a man in uniform holding some kind of what looked like a light beam facing in my direction. And I went, wait a minute, don't they have programs for something like this? And I went, and my frequency changed and it went into this protection mode because I didn't want anything messing with my family. You know what I mean? So that stayed like that for maybe a minute. And then I was like, all right, whatever. Michael's got my back. I have protection. I'm protecting myself. Let's just kind of roll with this and see where it goes. And I ended up sending you a text going, Brian, what the hell's going on, dude?
Like, I'm being effed with, man.
I didn't make a video. I didn't do anything about it because it was overwhelming. I mean, it's up there with like, a UFO landing in your front yard. They get out, they shake hands, you offer coffee and you have a conversation. I mean, this is like right there. It's on that level. But you talk about a motley looking crew. Anything you can picture in Star Wars, I mean, it was like that.
I said that could have been your family reunion.
Maybe.
I mean, your galactic family.
At this time, I am not shocked by anything at all, no matter what. But I'm you know, I'm relatively sane guy, but when that kind of stuff happens to you, you either dig in, you ground. You got to make sure and ground in a situation like that, and then you just kind of let it flow. You just try and figure out what was it that energetically made that happen. It's all energy, but
I mean, everything is.
Have 50 beings standing around you in your front yard with your neighbors, and you're taking pictures, and everybody's going, "What the heck is going on?" It is a reality check, dude. You really got to figure what is going on with my reality. What is this reality? Am I dreaming?
You have to question it sometimes.
You have to question, especially something like that. I know how it sounds, but it happened, and
I don't doubt you one bit.
It is what it is.
But you thought about that this was always there, that everything is already there. And I said that before too in my rune shows. It's always there. It was always there, right? We just now open our eyes for the first time. Like, I like that, like saying like a newborn baby. All of a sudden we see things that we didn't see before.
That's why babies.
Let me ask you, Anya, the first time you saw Odin, did it surprise you, like, you know, with him? Did you question what you were seeing?
Yeah, I was ready to go to the family doctor. Yeah, I was like,
okay,
right. And then I ignored it a bit. I'm like, okay, I didn't do drugs, maybe too much coffee.
1, 2, 3.
But it was like, yeah, I'm not leaving until you know I'm real. And then I finally gave in. But I mean, it was the same with me seeing spirits for the first time. I seriously thought I'm having the screw loose. Like, of course you don't like, oh, cool, Odin, right? Oh, a spirit, right on, right? You're just like, what? So, of course.
I had one night in the kitchen, I had something, I was watching a video, and it was probably about 1 a.m, and I had my shirt felt like it picked up and went back down, and my brain went, okay, that was nothing, and then something touched my back and went down, and I went, really? Okay. So I grabbed the thing. I said, why don't we just take a picture, because there will be no freaking out on my part. I'm good to go. And I took a picture, and sure enough, I made a video, and you could see the being standing back there. Desert Rose ended up going and channeling that being to see who they were. And they were a shapeshift. This is who they claimed to be, a shapeshifter from the 10th planet, whatever 10th planet that may be. And they were just here to say hello. I never felt anything negative about it. I wasn't feeling attacked or closed in. It was just like, it's almost like an old friend showing up, you know, and saying hello.
That comfortable feeling.
It was a comfortable feeling. Normally that kind of happened to me 3 years ago. I would have flipped out. What the heck's going on? But it's getting to the point now where you know, I've got these little cups, and I go, can you move that? And the cup will move, you know, and it's no big deal. It's just energy. I understand that whatever it is moving that cup, and not a big deal. I can move the cup too. But
yeah, that's what I was getting ready to say. I mean, that's like we're capable of levitating things if we could remember how.
Yeah, we just got to
practice that.
Yeah,
it just doesn't go from today or tomorrow. You really got to practice.
Well, that's like with energy work, isn't it?
Yeah, it's the same. I mean, like before, I needed the people with me when I started. Like, for example, finding out I can do this. I always thought, like, always need that person next to me, and I always have to put my hand on. So now I don't need to do that anymore. I mean, I prefer it for the person too. It's more personal,
right?
You know?
Sure.
But for the shaman work, it's nicer, right? To get the personal contact, but it's not always possible. I mean, I can't travel to the States or to Germany whenever I want to. So I got to take that trip. The shortcut.
Yeah, that would be expensive. You know, that would be expensive energy healing if you had to travel everywhere.
Yeah, that would be a charge then involved.
Where are you from in Germany? I'm just curious.
Well, I'm in Canada now. I'm coming from Düsseldorf.
Düsseldorf. I lived in Buch, just a little bitty hole in the wall. in Germany. I was like, we were like the only Americans there. Buch. It was next to Marshtown or by Hahn Air Force Base, which I think is.
Oh, yeah, okay. Was it a base?
Yeah, there's an Air Force base. It's a German base now, I believe.
Yeah.
Who knows? I was just curious.
Yeah, that's a little further west where I am.
When did you move over here, Anya?
7 years ago, 2011, November 2011.
And what brought you, may I ask?
Don't ask me. I don't remember.
Okay. Okay. That's why I said, may I ask?
Yeah, of course. No, I'm just kidding. Well, actually, I always wanted to live in Scotland. I still do.
Oh, yeah.
I know I will one day, but I came here with my ex because he got a job offer and the economy was not as good in Germany. So we took a chance, but now I'm single and he's still working where he doesn't want to work. No, but I'm good before everybody thinks that was my choice to leave 3 years ago. So I'm cool. So, but now my daughter has a granddaughter, right? And I can't really go anywhere.
I was just thinking, did y'all notice, like I said, I've been out for a while, but did y'all notice there was quite a few other people that just kind of dropped off the scene there for a little while?
Sure. That may be a collective feeling there that happened.
That's what I think, because it seems like a lot of the originals was the ones that kind of dropped out, or the originals as far as people I know.
Yeah, or a moment of exhaustion. I saw that. I saw that with not just you, not just me. I saw that with Wayne. I think went through a moment there where he's like, but he's Wayne. He's going to stick it out.
Oh yeah,
but everybody's going through that. There's like something. I am not going to give dates because there's no such thing in my book, but it feels like that there's a big tipping point or something coming. There's just energetically for me, it feels like there's a big change coming, a big shift.
Wayne left a message on my phone the other day, and like that's something weird too. Man, my electronics have been messing up. My voicemail didn't work for like 2 weeks, and my text messages wasn't working today. But anyway, he left a message and was talking about that he thinks he's going to do a video too. So I'm not going to tell what it is, but he thinks he figured out why we lost those memories and stuff. And it actually makes a lot of sense, to be honest with you. It has to do with the sun. I will say that.
Sorry, I was laughing at you. I was laughing at the chat. Sorry.
Oh, I didn't even know.
The sun, the moon, Saturn. I think there's something there. There's a moon, Saturn thing going on. But you got to think, if we came in here with our full memories, will we be able to accomplish what needs to be accomplished? Would the shock and awe of everything push us in the direction that we need to go? Had we kept those memories? I wonder. A lot of people talk about those memories being taken, but Brian, I really feel like there are a lot of us that came in that are voluntarily came into this.
But have our memories been taken, or have we been just manipulated all these years?
Manipulated now. That's like we were talking last night. Look now, like they say we go to Afghanistan and Iraq for oil or whatnot and gold, but I mean they're erasing our history while they're over there, blowing all these ancient sites and stuff. So are they preparing for the next reset now?
I think the more they lean on all this, the more they do, the more they're showing their hand. I really feel like humanity is going to come through.
Oh, we are. I mean, we will overcome this. But I mean, I do believe that that's what they're trying to prepare for, though.
Are they destroying really ancient sites or just duplicates? We don't know.
Yeah, well, I
don't believe anything.
I believe that they're destroying those sites, though, because they truly are trying to erase our history. And the history we've been taught is all bullshit anyway.
I think the harder they lean on us or to try and get this to go their way, the more it's going to foul up for them. I really feel that way. I feel like that dark energy is going to just cave in on itself.
They're already grasping at straws.
Yeah. And I don't, here's the other thing that I've come to realize is that there's going to have to be forgiveness. There's going to have to be a place where we all come to, where we're not looking to inflict anything back on them. There's going to have to be an unconditional love that comes into play before humanity can really just kind of break out of that. A lot of people, you know, that's the other reason I kind of shut down YouTube, is because I don't want to hear about this sending people to prison. I just think that these people operated in a dark energy and they were in fear themselves at some point. But there's going to have to be a forgiveness and an unconditional love that just helps everybody to grow. Otherwise, we just continue that circle jerk of fear, you know? And I don't know, that's just me. That's how I feel about it.
No, I agree.
And you just have to realize that the ones ruling all this, right? And I'm not even talking of presidents and the government. They're just little, even the president, sorry. Am I going to go to jail now? If you send a special force, please make it a sexy one. Thank you. No, now I forgot what I wanted to say. See? The MCAS ultraing me. I'm just kidding. No, I forgot what I wanted to say. Shit.
Well, at least you're not seeing Casper and spiders on your head.
I was sexy special force. Now I got all distracted.
Yeah, I mean, you literally had a brain sucker on your head, Brian.
Dude,
I think that's
half
what
human. He was half human, and the bottom half of him, there were 8 legs. He's sitting on my head with this shit-eating grin on his face, and I had arachnophobia in a bad way. So I'm like, are you kidding? Really? That was like the point where I go, that's it. Let me really just check 6. What's going on, man? I look at it again, and I look at it again, and I go, well, it is what it is. I got to protect myself.
So did it just cut off after one night, or I mean, is it still going on?
Those energetics have continued. The cloud thing has stopped so much. I can still look up at the clouds, and you can always see stuff in them. But just these 2 days, man, they were just, Brian, it was like if there was a dog in the sky, it was an absolute dog. You could tell. I made videos of this. You can see it.
Yeah, I can't wait to see it.
Michael pops up. I'm taking a picture of what looks like Archangel Michael in the sky, and this dog pops right up out of the center of the thing, and it looks like a dog wagging its tail. It's just, there's no getting around it. In fact, it looks so real. I was thinking, no one's ever going to believe this. They're going to think I'm manipulating something on this thing. That's how real it looked. And it was, it's this perception thing. It's all about this perception. I've asked this because it's not happening so much anymore in the sky for me. And I wonder if this is something I've cut off. You got to ask yourself, if we are indeed living in a matrix and we are creators, how much of this is it that I'm creating or manifesting? Am I actually changing the perception in my head?
To be honest with you, the majority. I mean, because
I remember what I wanted to say. Trina, sorry for interrupting.
No, go ahead.
I'm disappearing over here.
I see you glowy. No, but in order to break free and from what we are getting controlled by, and like I said before, certain people in the top positions, I'm not saying that again. We got to understand that those people are all psychopaths, and so that we realize that they're really psychopaths, because I looked a bit into that. Like psychopaths, we would say, oh, they go and kill out people. No. Psychopaths go and control. They have no empathy. They just manipulate and have other people do their job. So when we finally accept that these people are really, really, really mentally disturbed, maybe we will turn away from them. I mean, that's not very spiritual, but for me, both goes hand in hand. Even doing energy work for me goes both hand in hand, even the mental stage. So that's what I wanted to say. I know that totally didn't fit in anymore, but I'm glad I said it.
I like turtles.
I like gummy bears.
Yeah, I like gummy
And
bears.
Bob's your uncle, yeah.
You gotta have fun with this. If you don't laugh, you're just gonna go.
You have to keep a good sense of humor about it. Otherwise, we truly would be insane.
That's right. This is a really good chai tea, by the way. I have fallen in love with chai. I
love chai tea. Mm.
Yeah, I can't drink tea. I just don't like it. Ugh. Tastes like dirty water to me.
I love it. Yummy.
You know, maybe it's just because I haven't tried the right kind, but not my cup of tea.
Not your cup of tea.
Yeah.
So what else has happened, B, on your end? I mean, have you seen anything in the skies that have just, turn your I mean, has anything lit you up?
I haven't seen anything on the alien side, but
Well, back up. I don't think those were ETs, B.
Huh?
I don't think those were extraterrestrial at all. I don't think they're from other planets.
So what do you think they are?
I don't know, but I think that's just something that's always been. I think it's just maybe it's a glimpse. Look, we have other realities here. We have other dimensions. We have other timelines. We have other universes where you have Earth again and again and again. You have other yous, you have other me's, and you have fractals throughout that whole thing. If you think in terms of quantum, this stuff may exist.
Yeah.
And I'm just.
So let me ask you a question. If there is not and I don't want to say human, but I've got to, but say on another planet, if there's not a conscious being, how about that?
Okay.
Is there any reality there without that conscious being?
What? Sorry, I was writing.
Can there be on another planet if there's no conscious being there to witness it or to actually project those thoughts and to create that reality? Can there be a reality without that conscious being?
I
mean, since it's all energy and all frequency, and you can create a lot with energy and frequency, same as I do with energy work, same as I do with spells and magic. You can create things. You can create a bad day if you wake up. Oh shit, I really don't want that day is so gonna suck. I promise you that day will suck.
That's why daily affirmations really do work for me, because it's better to start off at least with a positive swing than to start off in the hole.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
I mean, sometimes I smile at myself in the mirror, and then I start laughing at myself in the mirror because I look like Cat Weasel in the morning, but at least I'm in a good mood then.
Cat Weasel. That's awesome. I got to use that.
And if you can't laugh at yourself, I mean, geez.
I love that. Cat Weasel. Anyway, as far as I just think that maybe I was perceiving, there are people that can actually go into meditation and jump out of this reality into the same earth on a different plane and actually jump into that body. I think anything is possible.
Anything is possible. You're absolutely correct.
I think I was probably just perceiving a different reality,
People can get possessed as well, right? That's why I always say it's so important not to muck around with any spirits or invoking and evoking and shit. I mean, you just, but no one listens to me anyways. But what can I say? It's like,
I'm listening to you.
No, I'm just like in general, I have that experience. Is it Ouija board or other things? I'm like, cut that shit out. Like, if you do that, like I do with Odin, I know that energy. I know it's not harmful. If something is off, I feel it by now, right? But this is just because I always listen to my feeling. Or your brain is actually in your gut feeling. Listen to your guts. Don't listen to your head. Listen to your guts. That's where
there's just as many neural receptors in your intestines than there is in your brain.
In your heart too, huh?
Yep.
Yeah, that's where it all is, not in your head, right? And so and that's why something can can come from wherever because it's energy. Is it demons? I talked about that before. Everybody freaks out, but this is just someone else's, well, when we talked about manifesting as well, someone else's manifested energy. You know, it could even be our inner demon, for example, our fear that will manifest. Anything can manifest, anything can, like you say, though, those bodies slipping something in, it's all possible. You just, you know, got to be aware and ground it.
Putting up that protection and protecting yourself from anything. I mean, that was when I saw that, the first thing, when I saw the clouds, it was like, you know, your human side goes, what the fuck is going? I mean, excuse my French, but it was like, are you okay? I need to ground. I need to make sure I've got this protection. I need to protect myself. Okay, let's roll with this. What's up? And that's basically how it rolled. I never saw any of them looking at me like I'm a demon, I'm gonna get you. They're always smiling. But that was me. I've always said, you better be smiling. You better come with positive intent because I'm coming with positive intent. Do not invade my body.
That's half the battle right there as well as the intention. I mean,
they were all, even the spider guy was smiling on my head. It was a little evil. I mean, the smile was like, I'm sitting on your head with 8 legs. I mean, it freaked me out a little bit. I'm like, what the hell?
He's
Brian,
probably smiling because he's thinking, yeah, I done sucked you dry.
Well, you know, you gotta wonder. He's certainly happy and carefree, but those thoughts, you know, when I go to bed at night, I go, what just happened? You know, it's not just I'm restless, I'm worried. It's just, what just happened? You're going over it again and again. How could that happen? You know, what am I creating?
Did you tell your wife?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, okay.
Amit said something interesting. In Catholic demonology, demon means those with wisdom or genius. Yeah, interesting.
I mean, that's like I've said before, they always put a negative label on things that they want to steer you away from. Things that probably, you know, it's like dark matter and dark energy. They always put that negative label on it. That dark matter is just basically consciousness.
Yeah.
And I use both, and I say that too. I need both. I need not only light, I get my wisdom out of the dark, and depending on when I'm in the mood, I hide in the dark. It's all about balance. You cannot have one without the other. Or you will not know what the light is, and you will not know what the dark is.
You hit the nail on the head right there. Balance, balance, balance.
So, and sometimes depending on what kind of magic I do, is it protection magic, not to hurt anyone. I use what other people would call dark magic. Same, everybody or most would think love spells is white magic because you do love spells. No, it's dark magic because you manipulate someone. So that's what I mean. It for us humans, everything needs a label or we can't deal with it instead of just accepting what it is.
Right.
Left and right, above, below, you know.
I was told, well, I kind of read up on it just to make sure, but a tiger's eye is what I brought out. And then tell me if this is right or wrong, because I'm still kind of researching it. And I don't ever use anything unless I really understand it fully and I'm grounded into it. But to break out a tiger's eye and picture pentagrams in your head to protect yourself, does that make any sense to you? What do you think about that?
Wait a minute. No, repeat that again. Yeah, repeat that.
I was wanting to come up with something as far as protection, and I read up that tiger's eye, and the picturing of those pentagrams as a shield to protect yourself from things. I read about that. I
know tiger's eye is. Now I'm not sure about the pentagram. Now she would probably know more about that.
Layers of pentagram.
Tigers, I don't know. Like I have a little obsidian, for example, for me for protection. But again, it's like with everything. Like if you feel the tiger's eye protects you, then you use it. If you feel just the rose crystal protects you, even though rose crystal stands for love, then you take it. You know what I mean?
It's the placebo effect. It is what you believe and what you manifest.
You
Or is
fill,
that an actual
fill those
technology?
stones with your energy.
Right.
So in this moment, that little stone will give you that energy back. You know, it's all about giving and receiving. The same with trees. And when we take healing from trees, it's a giving and taking. And yes, a pentagram can be used for protection, but then you need to go deeper. Like you can just imagine it around, standing in one, but you got to be careful how, like if you draw it yourself, you got to be careful how and which direction, because
that's what I was going to ask you. Does it matter if it's upright or inverted, or? So it does.
Yeah, it does. Like
I've
if
always
you want
just
to go
pictured
deeper,
white
then
light.
you need to be careful how you draw it.
I always just pictured I always simplify anything. I don't care what it is.
Keep it simple.
I will keep it simple, stupid. I picture a white light around myself, just this white light.
Yes, you can just imagine a pentagram for you for protection, because all it is elements, right? And the ether, that's what it is. It's not devilish. Like I get that asked all the time because I wear mine. I remember when my daughter was 9, I was forced to baptize her because I couldn't get her in school. And
it's like the viruses or the
vaccines, yeah,
vaccines. Like,
and I'm like, shit. I'm like, okay, do what he I have to do. I was all by myself, right? And he was like, looking nervous. I'm like, yeah, come on, do what you do, so I can do mine when you're done. He was like, what? I'm like, yeah, just go ahead. And I was just there. I didn't want to do anything. I was following him because he looked right, because I don't believe in that.
He was nervous.
I didn't give him the power to do what that ritual actually means. Plus, it's old heathen tradition to pour water on a child, to welcome it in the community. So, and just putting the cross on the third eye, but I'm not getting into that now.
No.
But so I was just, and he was looking at it. I'm like, yeah, go ahead. I could just do mine after. Like, he was like, no family. I'm like, no, I'm just doing that for the paper. Get it over with. And then when my daughter was 9, of course, the time for the Holy Communion came.
Oh,
and I asked my daughter, I said, do you want to go or not? Because I didn't, want to force her for anything. And she was like, what does it mean? I'm like, I don't even really know. I say, I never looked into that. I think it's a kind of pre-marriage to God, welcome you in his community or something. I'm not sure. She was like, nah, I'm good. So with 9. And then the priest, he came one day, he saw me, he was like, oh, your daughter's still not registered for Sunday school. I'm like, yeah, no, and I'm not going to. Yeah, why? I'm like, she doesn't want to go. Well, how can she decide that? I'm like, right? And looking at me like, shit, right? I say, no, I say, when she's older and she wants to, hey, I say, I don't know what she wants to become. I don't care. It's her path, not mine.
That's right. I would say something like,
is that the reason? I'm like,
yeah, that's why I was talking about before. I don't hate on anybody's path or anything like that, but don't start using it where you're manipulating people to you believe that's the only path, because to each his own by far. We each don't tread our own path. The end game is the only thing that matters.
That's right.
To me, at least.
So yeah, just again a label, right? Pentagram witch. I'm like, yeah. I'm like, actually, thank you. Yes. It all get labeled.
That reminds me, Brian, of that time I went down the street and that guy came down. He was all nervous. So I went down to his house to check it out, and he had all those beings bound up. Remember that room I told you about with the long hallway with the portal at the end of it that I could sense?
Up in the closet?
He had that salt and all that. He had it trapped in, so I cleared it out and told whatever it was free to leave if it wanted. And sure enough, it did. Another couple moved into that house, and I was down at the water, and I was able to tell them the story, and they said that house was great. But that night I went in there was some freaky stuff happening with that place, man. But they had chicken bones up in the window, and there was like a book of spells that was all used, and you know, it had other people's energies on it. And I'm like, dude, you need to take that outside. It had a real dark.
Well, you know, that's what I've been saying before. Your people messing with pendulums and weeds, like she was saying, Ouija boards, all these things. You got to be careful doing that stuff. Really, it ain't no game. I mean, I don't care if it says Parker Welles on it or not.
No, it's there.
Truly invite things in.
Mm-hmm.
Especially bones. I mean, they're like, you know, antennas. So especially bones, you want to be careful. I mean, that's why they use, for example, back little bone oracles, you know, that just send a certain frequency.
Oh, wow.
But
he had this up in the window. He said he said that the guy said it was to keep things from coming in. I put selenite up around my windows just to kind of clean whatever, but it was freaky to see all that stuff around. And it had that, I'll be honest, the energy that was going on in that place and the spells that were obviously there had that guy in a complete state of fear. And I'm like, your state of fear is amplifying everything that's going on right now. Yeah. And once he moved out, I'm just glad that other family was good to go. I actually gave them some sage to burn through their house just for the heck of it. But that was really intense that night. I had some weird stuff happening with me.
Many years ago, God, how many years? 20 at least? I don't know. I had this guy asking me, hey, don't you do energy and all that? I'm like, yeah, well, can you help me? I'm like, okay, there's something in my house. I'm like, okay. And so I walked with him just a few blocks. He was living under the roof with his parents. Well, it was an apartment condo, but he lived, well, whatever, in his house. So I walked in there and I was just right away like, holy beep. I'm like, what the hell did you do here? I didn't do anything. I'm like, no, my friend. What did you do here? I said, we got to be honest here with each other, right? Right. Well, I was playing with that book. I'm like, what book? I'm like, give me that book. So it was something about Negro magic, right?
Oh, wow.
I'm like, oh, cool. And you were just deciding it's cool. I'm just going to read a little bit out of it, right? Well, I didn't think it would matter. It sounded interesting. I said, you lighted some candles and you didn't even know how to light them, when to light which candle. You just decided to put some candle magic and pop that you don't know shit about.
Next time, play Uno, dude.
Right.
But can you get rid of this? I'm like, certainly not. Not for you. You're going to get your lesson. I'm like, I'm going to prepare some incense mix. I'm going to give you instructions and good luck. So I had him sweat for a week, right? I can't. And I just had him sleep in it for a week. It wasn't really dangerous. It was just annoying and a little draining, but I just thought, oh, you're never going to do that again. And not call me like every time, right? Oh, I think I did the next chapter. Could you come back, please?
People mess with some stuff they know nothing about. They think it's a joke. They literally should be playing Battleship or something instead, or the Game of Life, because that stuff's real. I mean, there's stuff there just waiting to be able to either feed off of the negative energy or the fear or whatever. That's why it's so important to just have that be in that state of joy or bliss, you know, and not feed into that fear. That I don't know about you guys, but in my life, the mistakes I have made have been based in fear, and there have been some doozies. You
know, Miles Tag just put an interesting statement in the chat. It says, I wonder if some form of exorcism would work on my schizo mom. I would have to say yes. I believe that, you know, I mean, I believe there are, it may not be an exorcism, so to say, but I definitely believe that there could be energy work done to help with things like that. But I don't know a whole lot about that. But like we were saying earlier, I believe if you believe it, you can achieve it.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yes, of course you can. You can do exorcism. That's such a big word again, right?
Yeah, the exorcism. I don't know about all that though.
So,
I watched that movie Constantine yesterday. Just watching, going through it, and You know, the whole time, everybody thinks that's entertainment, but a lot of stuff is real, man. This stuff's happening all the time. You just, you know, gotta be careful.
Absolutely.
Gotta be.
Well, let me ask you. We got about 5 minutes left. So, what do y'all got? What are y'all working on right now? What do you got going on you?
Tonight, not much anymore.
Well, no, I mean, like, you know, with your runes and stuff. Like, where are you at with that? Like, what are you working on?
Well, I got 4 more runes, and then I'm done with that journey. I'm gonna put up another video, like a little where I put it all together, just a little music video I was thinking about. I have it in my mind already. And then I'm not sure what I'm going to do next. I was thinking maybe starting a small webinar about using the runes. Not sure yet how that works. I rather have those things with people, right? I'm mostly like about going out, making your own rune sets. But I don't know anyone here, just Judith. But other than that, everybody is so far away, and I want to explain the binding runes a bit more, but I can't do that in a video.
I would definitely sign up for that, no doubt.
What is it? What is it? I'm sorry.
Runes are?
No.
Well, they come from the Norse. They're like oracles. You can check it on my video if you like.
I will.
And you can use them like, you know, like tarot cards, like for oracle. You can use each rune to work with. Like it's too much now to explain, but you can work with them, and they're very strong. They're stronger than tarot cards, I find, because they will show you what you need to hear, not what you want to hear. Like with tarot cards, I find it's always a little soft, but they're like just in your face. So
and the runes are more about a feeling as well, aren't they?
It's about everything. It's about what you experience. It's about your inner world.
Well, I feel like sometimes with the tarot, you can be misled by the images on the cards. You know what I'm saying? Instead of just that feeling coming through.
I'll check that out.
To be honest, sure. I don't really read the cards the way tarot cards reader do. I feel into the energy of that person, and the picture is mostly for the person I'm reading to.
Okay.
Give them an idea.
Yeah.
To understand better. So, but and runes are don't want to mess around, but if you don't use them right, they can harm you. You can, let's say, just an example, you have one rune that is mood uplifting and supports you with that, with a tree in combination. But if you use it wrong, or if you want to use it to harm someone, it can turn into depression. So they go really deep, and that's why I can't explain binding runes, like really what you can use. I thought maybe a little webinar would help.
Like I said, I would definitely be interested. So keep me informed on that, please.
I will. I still have to make plans, how, what. But I have 4 more weeks to go with runes, which is not going to be Tuesday, by the way, but this Wednesday.
So this Wednesday, at what time will it premiere?
At 7, if my computer plays along. Last time I said it.
That's 7 Mountain, right? That's 9 Eastern, correct?
Yeah.
Okay.
You're 9. You're 9.
Yeah. Okay. And Brian, what do you got going on?
I'm just taking it day by day here. We got Lindley a car, my 16-year-old. We got her a vehicle, so we're enjoying that. I'm just trying to spend as much time with Mom as I can, and
well, tell her I love her. Send her my best.
I will, for sure, definitely. I think she's watching this tonight. I'm not sure. Maybe.
Hi, Mom.
Hey, Mom. Anyway.
Well, I appreciate you both coming by tonight. How it flew by, and I mean, there's quite a few people watching. We got over 50 there, so.
Where'd time go? This went by quick.
It always does. It always does. So
I'm gonna get those pictures up.
Y'all are some of my roots, and I truly love both of y'all. And I mean that from my heart.
Well, love you too, man. You know that. Always on my mind, brother. Always.
Always wake, always around. Well, folks, join me tomorrow night. I got Mr. Kent Nichols going to be joining me, and who knows where that goes? It's always a surprise to me as well. So we'll see where that goes. But until then, be the frequency you want to receive, and I love you all, folks.
Bye.
Bye.